Well, hello, welcome back to the fish locker. Where are we going?
Camping.
Where are we going?
To the beach to do some camping.
We're going to the beach to do some camping. We've got our stuff in the back. We're just on our way now. We will make our way to the beach and then we'll see you there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we've made it to the beach. We're just clearing an area where we're going to camp. Just clearing all the stones out of it. You can see how much gear we've carried down. I have you know I did it in proper man style and I only did it in one trip. Nearly broke me like, but I did it. And we're just clearing some stones, aren't we?
Yes, that's the
Clearing some stones and levelling it out a little bit to put our tent on. Okay, well, just James and I have managed to set the tent up, and the beautiful Mrs. Fish Locker has come down and joined us, which is fantastic. We didn't know if she was going to be able to make it. Right, this new tent that we've got, it's called a blackout tent, and as you can see, it is pretty good at keeping the light out. So we'll see if that'll help us get an extra hour's sleep in the morning. You're going to get all the way in. You happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. We're going to get the airbed out, get it pumped up, and then we will see about getting a fire going. As you can see, we brought some of our own wood with us. Now, I could have got down there and there could have been a lot of driftwood and we wouldn't have needed to. But I didn't want to get down there and there not be anything. All we're doing now is we've made like a little bit of a fire pit to keep the fire controlled.
Do you want to have a sword fight? Sure.
And all I'm doing is...
Sword!
James, be careful. There's no point having an axe if it isn't sharp. So all I'm doing now is I'm just getting a bit of kindling, look. Right, well that's the tent all set up and the fire is going to be ready to go. We're going to light that in an hour or so. What we're going to do is, Fish Locker Junior and I, when he's stopped chasing seagulls with a stick, is in a minute we're going to use these to cook our tea. Now these are rocket stoves. I've got a video on the Fish Locker Workshop channel showing you how I make these, but they are dead simple and great for cooking on. Now Hannah has got a couple of calls to do. She's got a couple of conference calls and then a couple of phone calls with her team members. And we're very lucky that the business that her and I are in, she and I are, it allows us the ability to be able to take it with us wherever we go. So Fish Locker Junior and I are going to go down and see if we can find some more driftwood for the fire later on, while she runs up a few calls. It's been perfect. It really has. Not only has it allowed us the freedom to be able to follow the passions that we have, but also it was perfect for us when James was poorly in hospital. It was a job that we could pick up and drop. We could do it from anywhere, do it from a hospital room, we could do it from the beach, we do it in a car while we were travelling. Yeah, been very lucky. Perfect out here now, isn't it? Stunning little spot for a camp. Are you going to come and help me find some firewood? Come on, let's go. We'll go and collect some shells down here. I'm leaving without you. Right, that's it. Have we thrown enough stones now? Be careful you don't fall, because if you fall you'll skin your nails again. Oh, come on. Not an awful lot of firewood, so we're going to head back now. See if Hannah's finished her conference call. You finished? Not yet. Just need to get it going first.
It's going.
Yep. Put air in here. These two lines in there meet up. Got little sticks and kindling in there and blowing air in here, and it feeds the fire. As soon as it takes and it starts burning properly, then we'll add a couple of little pieces of kindling to it. You can see. It's burning up well. Oil's just getting hot enough, and we're going to try and cook some chips. This was a bit of an experiment. I haven't cooked chips on the beach before, just because you haven't been able to get the fat hot enough. Now Mrs. Fishlocker didn't think we could do this, so I'm kind of hoping that it does. Not that it's a competition or anything, but you love being right, don't you? And they're cooking up nicely. It is taking longer than I wanted, and the stove is burning down quite a lot. But the fat is hot enough and the chips are cooking. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get this serving of chips up and ready for young James, and then we'll be able to get a bit of our food on there. James's chips are ready. There you are, fresh cooked beach chips. James, come and have a look at these. What are these like? Wow. There you go, get your bowl of chips then. James, get hold of it. There you go. What have you got there?
Chips.
Chips. Are they nice chips?
Yeah.
Can I have one?
No.
No? Cheeky monkey. Yeah. The rocket stove. The rocket stove didn't quite manage to do all of the food. It did the chips and it did Hannah's steak, but I think I'm just going to have to cook my burgers on the fire. But it's done well, hasn't it? Considering. Let's just get the fire started now. Yeah, you can. And then we'll get this put on the fire as well as soon as it gets started.
Ow.
You see now how the fire's starting to build up a bit. I'll put that stove back on. You'll notice how I scooped it out and I put stones around the outside, look, to try and keep the fire contained. You need to be careful when you're putting stones around fire. I'll only ever collect them from above. The water line. If you collect rocks that are from down that have been submerged underwater, they can have water inside of them. When you put them in a fire or around a fire, that water turns to steam and the rocks can explode. So you need to be careful. All these have been collected, look, from way above the tide line. Put the logs around it like that to help them dry out fully. Right, well, like I said, the rocket stove didn't quite manage to cook all the food. So I have a little grill from a disposable barbecue that I found on our last camping trip that we kept hold of, and we're just cooking my burgers on there. Got a couple of potatoes inside a tin foil to have some baked potatoes as well. And when the tide ebbs off a bit and I can get onto these rocks here, I'm going to take the spinning rod out, see if we can't get a mackerel or a pollock. Campfire ready, wood for later. The little man's enjoying his chips and doing his own work, and I have got my burgers. Now it was a shame we couldn't all eat together, but the rocket stove just didn't last long enough. It's all an experiment, wasn't it? The chips took a little bit longer than we expected, but yeah, it was alright, it worked out okay. They're nice chips, aren't they? Yeah. You alright in there, Snuggy? It is dark in there, isn't it? That blackout really is blackout. Anyway, I'm going to get these down maybe before they go cold, and then we might see about doing a bit of fishing in a minute. We're just out to do a little bit of a walk, just to stretch our legs before the sun goes down. We'll have a little walk up to that point up there. I might throw a lure around and see if there's anything. There's an awful lot of thongweed around, real high. It sits real high in the water, so there's not much I can do. You might find a clear spot. It does get quite deep off the end of there. Love these little beaches. There's an awful lot of like quartz in them, all the white you can see, and that's because it's really hard. So when the rest of the rocks, like these ones, are getting broken up, the white is what's left over because it's the hardest. We've stoked the fire up and we are just about ready for bed. Hannah's just setting out all the beds in there. It's so bright, is it? Yeah. What have we been doing? What did we cook? We cooked you some chips, didn't we? Cut some potatoes up and cooked some chips. On that, what did we cook them on? The rocket stove. Hannah had a steak and I had some burgers. Lovely, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we had a look in the rock pools.
Yeah.
There wasn't much in the rock pools though. And now that we've stoked the fire up, it's time for bed, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get a few hours sleep, and then hopefully that blackout tent, because it'll block out the dawn, we hopefully will get a few more hours. I might, depending on what the conditions are like in the morning, I might get my wetsuit on early doors and see what I can find in the water. Are we going to go in there now?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Right here.
Okay. Is that enough wood, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Come on, you're getting tired, aren't you?
Yeah.
Go on, hold on to me and I'll lift you up. Oh, you're so heavy, you're now 5. Oh. There we are, all set up in there. I'm going to shine a light around so we can see what's looking like. Where are you, James? I can't see you. There you are. Right, I'm just going to go and make sure the fire's right. I'm going to go and make sure the fire's right, and then I'm going to get to bed as well. Good morning. Doesn't get much better than this, does it? From the second I woke up and saw the sea, I knew this was going to be a stunning dive. The plankton is still quite thick in areas, but I didn't care. There was still loads to see. In areas the kelp was really dense, so you had to get right in amongst it to see anything. Some of these pieces of thongweed are incredibly long. I made sure to remember my torch today. It was perfect for looking into these caves and crevices. Giving this compass jelly a wide berth. A cute little pair of pouting living in this hole. This crevice was really deep. Not fancying it today though. Those orange fish with the black bands are female cuckoo wrasse. A nice big snakelock's anemone. This pinnacle had quite a few pollock around it, but it was at its base that I was the most excited. Another cuckoo and a rock cuck wrasse. That'll do nicely. What a cracker! That is a brilliant sized edible crab. The dive wouldn't be complete without a spider crab. And a stunning ballan wrasse. Here we have Mrs. Fishlocker cooking up an absolute storm. We've got bacon going on the rocket stove, we've got steak going on the fire, we've got a tin of beans there cooking, and just James is up there enjoying his barbecue cooked toast. So we're going to cook some bacon up, fry some eggs, and I'm going to have steak, beans and eggs. Now, we've got a fantastic crab, and we brought all of this because we didn't know we'd find anything. What we're going to do is we're going to take the crab home and cook the crab at home. When you've got food like this, you don't need to cook that as well. You see there, the rocket stove's cooking away nicely. Because we've got a breeze going this way, that steak looks fantastic.
Smells good.
Is that my piece and that your piece? Yeah. And checking the lid off the beans. It's all right heating beans up on a fire like that when you take the lid off. Just make sure you take the lid off, because if you don't, it'll explode.
Don't pick up the can.
Yeah. What you might, I don't know if you can see or not, what I've done here is before I put it on the fire, I used my multi-tool and I made a little hole in the side of there, look, so I could pick it up out of the fire. Right, I'm going to get stuck into that steak before it goes cold. I don't know how you guys like your steak, but for me that is absolutely perfect.
There's a video on it if you want anything.
Yeah, Hannah's actually done a video on her own channel of how she cooks steak.
With an example of some well cooked toast.
Yeah, cooking toast on a fire, it doesn't always go to plan. Like literally seconds and it's like charcoal. Let me guess, is that my piece as well?
It's fine. It's nice.
Delicious.
I ate a steak last night, so John can have this one this morning.
Hannah had her steak last night when I had burgers. Right, we've broken camp. You can see there where we had a hell of a time picking up all the stones, so we had somewhere nice and soft to sit to lay on. Fire's burnt down to nothing there. But we've packed everything up. This might seem like a lot, and you'd be right. Anyway, we had a fantastic cook up. Did James some chips last night on a rocket stove, and then Hannah had steak and I had burgers, and then this morning we had a nice little cook up around the fire. We had bacon, eggs, beans, and I had a steak. So perfect way to start the day. And I went for a little bit of a dive. I hope the underwater footage has shown out alright. There was still a lot of plankton around. There was a lot of wrasse, some big ones as well, some pollocks, some pilchards. I did see one bass. I found some fantastic caves. There was all sorts down in there, like crabs and bits, which is where I managed to find this great clonking crab. He's an absolute bruiser, isn't he? Rawr. Yeah, this one actually, I'll show you. I dived down to an overhang and I found it, and then I went back up and I put the GoPro away so I could use both hands, and this was the crab that I got out of it. Now we brought plenty of food with us, so we're going to take this home to cook. Right. I hope you've enjoyed joining us on the beach. You want to come here a second? He's not going to get you. Come here. I hope you've enjoyed joining us on the beach. We've had a lovely time. We are going to do some more camping. Where are we going next?
The woods.
James, over here.
The woods.
The woods?
Yeah.
We're going camping in the woods next. Okay. Oh, he's going to get me. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we will see you later. Bye from the fish locker.
Bye from the fish water. Goodbye from the